Apache Kafka is famous for its remarkable performance, handling massive throughput with impressively low latency. In this video, we'll explore the core principles that make Kafka so fast, including sequential I/O, the zero-copy principle, and direct memory access. We'll break these down with clear diagrams and animations so anyone can understand. Kafka's performance advantage comes from how it moves data from the network to disk and from disk back to the network. But what does moving data actually mean? In a computer, data travels between components like the disk, memory, CPU, and the network card. Each time data crosses a boundary between these components, the system must copy it from one buffer to another. A buffer is simply a temporary storage area in memory used to hold data while it's being transferred. In a traditional data transfer path, there are 4 separate copy operations. First, data is read from disk into the operating system's page cache. Second, it's copied from page cache into the application's memory buffer. Third, from the application buffer into a socket buffer. And fourth, from the socket buffer to the network interface card. With 4 copies and multiple system calls, which are requests from the application to the operating system kernel, this naive path burns CPU cycles and wastes memory bandwidth, making it very inefficient. One major reason Kafka is fast is sequential I/O. But what does that mean? Disk I/O, or input-output, refers to reading and writing data on a storage device. With random I/O, the disk head jumps around to scattered locations, wasting time on seek operations, the physical movement needed to find data. Sequential I/O is the opposite. Data is read and written in a continuous, linear order, one block right after the next. Kafka appends every message to the end of a log file, which means writes are always sequential. This is like reading a book page by page, versus flipping randomly between chapters. Disks, especially modern SSDs and HDDs, are dramatically faster with sequential access. This reduces seek times, increases throughput, and helps Kafka process hundreds of megabytes per second. Kafka also relies heavily on the operating system's page cache. The page cache is a region of system memory, or RAM, that the OS uses to store recently accessed disk data. Think of it as a fast access shelf where the OS keeps copies of frequently used files. When Kafka writes data to disk, it first goes into the page cache. For reads, if the data is still in page cache, Kafka serves it directly from memory without touching the physical disk at all. This is called a cache hit, and it's dramatically faster than a disk read. This approach is especially effective for Kafka's typical workload, where consumers often read data shortly after it was produced, meaning it's still hot in cache. The second big reason Kafka is fast is the zero-copy principle. To understand zero-copy, we first need to understand the difference between user space and kernel space. User space is where applications like Kafka run. Kernel space is where the operating system manages hardware and system resources. Normally, when an application sends data over the network, data must be copied from kernel space into user space, processed by the application, and then copied back into kernel space for network transmission. Zero copy eliminates these unnecessary trips. Instead of copying data through the application, Kafka uses an OS capability called sendfile to tell the kernel, send this file's data directly to the network. The data goes straight from the disk page cache to the network interface card buffer, bypassing the application entirely. Only 2 copies happen instead of 4. Let's look at how zero copy works in detail. In the traditional approach, when a consumer requests data from Kafka, the broker makes a read system call. The OS copies data from disk into page cache, then from page cache into Kafka's user space buffer. Kafka then makes a write system call, copying data from its buffer into the socket buffer, and finally the OS copies it to the network card. That's 4 copies and 2 system calls, a lot of overhead. With zero copy using the sendfile system call, the process is much simpler. Kafka tells the OS, send this file region directly to this network socket. The kernel copies data from disk to page cache, and then transfers it straight to the network card buffer. The data never enters Kafka's user space memory at all. This means fewer system calls, fewer context switches between user and kernel mode, less CPU usage, and significantly less memory bandwidth consumed. For a system like Kafka that moves terabytes of data daily, these savings are enormous. With zero copy in place, modern hardware takes efficiency even further through direct memory access, or DMA. To understand DMA, think about how data traditionally moves inside a computer. The CPU acts as a middleman. It reads data from one location and writes it to another, byte by byte. This keeps the CPU busy with simple data shuffling instead of doing useful computation. DMA changes this completely. DMA is a hardware feature built into devices like disk controllers and network interface cards. It allows these devices to transfer data directly to and from system memory without involving the CPU for every byte. When the disk controller reads data, DMA moves it straight into RAM. When the network card needs to send that data, DMA pulls it directly from RAM to the NC's transmit buffer. The CPU only needs to initiate the transfer and gets notified when it's complete. This frees up CPU cycles for actual processing, like handling new connections, managing consumer groups, or compressing data batches. So is Kafka CPU-heavy or RAM-heavy? Thanks to zero copy and DMA, Kafka's data transfer path uses surprisingly little CPU. The CPU doesn't copy data around. Hardware handles that. Instead, Kafka's CPU is mainly used for protocol handling, parsing requests from producers and consumers, compression and decompression of message batches, batch management and indexing, and network connection management. This means Kafka is typically not CPU-bound on the data path. On the memory side, Kafka takes a clever approach. Instead of managing its own large memory cache in the Java heap, Kafka delegates caching to the operating system's page cache. This means system RAM, not JVM heap memory, is what matters most. More system RAM means more data stays in page cache, which means more cache hits and fewer slow disk reads. A Kafka broker with 64 GB of RAM might only need 6 GB for its JVM heap, leaving the rest for the OS page cache. This design avoids garbage collection pauses and makes memory management much simpler. Let's recap the 4 pillars that make Apache Kafka fast. First, Sequential I/O. Kafka writes data in order to append only log files, maximizing disk throughput and minimizing seek time. Second, the OS page cache. Kafka leverages the operating system's memory cache, serving hot data directly from RAM without touching disk. Third, zero copy. Using the sendfile system call, Kafka eliminates unnecessary data copies between user space and kernel space, reducing CPU overhead. And fourth, direct memory access. DMA lets hardware devices transfer data directly to and from memory without burdening the CPU. Together, these 4 principles allow Kafka to handle millions of messages per second with minimal overhead. Think of Kafka like a modern warehouse. In an old warehouse, workers carry every box from the truck to the shelf, then from the shelf to another truck. That's 4 handoffs. But in an optimized warehouse, automated conveyor belts move boxes directly from incoming trucks to outgoing trucks, bypassing the workers entirely. Zero copy and DMA are like those conveyor belts. And Sequential I/O is like organizing all packages going to the same destination together, so loading is fast and efficient. Thanks to smart design choices, Sequential I/O, page cache, zero copy, and DMA, Kafka moves data extremely fast with minimal overhead. These are the foundational principles behind Kafka's extraordinary performance. Understanding these concepts helps you not only use Kafka better, but also appreciate the engineering principles that power modern distributed systems.